The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. These guys can't go about like 3 seconds without saying a swear, so, listener discretion is advised. So we were just catching up for a bit. I did tell them I had a podcast I had to record those, so
they're... Look, Matt, if you want this job, you gotta commit.
Hey, listen now. I've been on more episodes than JD and Kyle since I've been on the show.
It's true.
You're like the literal definition of commitment.
I've had perfect attendance since I've been full-time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome you to the Ink and Paint Club Academy Awards Show. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, our very fancy Oscar show for this year. I hope you all have your tuxes and dresses and your bubbly drinks and
hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, your
or horse divorce.
Yeah.
Your list of shitty jokes.
Yeah. Because it's the one good thing about this year. It's all digital or not in person, right?
Right.
Oh Lord. Anyway, my name is JD. Unfortunately, Kyle has busyness going on, so Matt's here though.
Yo.
And the woman over there making fun of my bad jokes is my wife, Melanie.
Hi. I wasn't making fun of your jokes. I was at the Oscars every year. There's always an actor that tries to joke.
I mean, your jokes do deserve to be made fun of, though, to be fair.
Oh. I
put up with for this show. We are going to be talking about the nominees for the 2021 Best Animated Picture and Best Animated Shorts. We will be talking more of in depth as we can about the shorts. The features will probably in the second half. We'll probably kind of just briefly go over. Matt saw one of the movies that we didn't actually review, but we did review 4 out of the 5 movies that's up for nomination this year. So if you want to hear our really in-depth thoughts, you can go back and check out those episodes.
And there's not really much to talk about on Shaun the Sheep, so don't worry about that.
We'll kind of more speculate on what the merits are of who deserves to win, what will actually win, which we pretty much are probably agreeing on that.
Yeah.
But before we get to that more discussion, whatever, let's go ahead and talk. Let's go ahead and talk about the animated shorts that are up for this year. So we've got Burrow, which is from Pixar. They put out as one of their Spark shorts.
But it was also attached to Soul, or supposed to be in theaters, right?
I thought it was attached to Soul.
Because I know they added Burrow at the same time they added Soul on Disney Plus. So I think that was intended to be paired.
Okay, yeah, because I think on Disney, because it was on Disney Plus, we didn't see it in theaters, but yeah, Burrow did come out on the same day, so I assume that. I guess.
Yeah.
We've also got Genius Loki, which is from France. We've got Yes People, which is from Iceland. We've got If Anything Happens, I Love You, which is on Netflix. And Opera, which we're not able to find anywhere. So we won't be talking about Opera, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it wasn't like last year where only 2 of the short films, the 2 animated short films were able to be watched. This time we're actually able to watch all but the one. So I feel like we will actually be able to discuss the animated short film or a bit more in depth than we did.
Sure, it was a lovely, lovely short.
I'm sure it was, but because even there was what I thought was a trailer on YouTube first. I was trying to think at least try to catch at least a visual style or something, but it's literally just showing the logo, I guess. So we weren't able to determine, we weren't able to figure out anything about it. So, hard to tell on that one.
Right.
Piece of shit.
So let's see. Let's go ahead and start with Yes People, because. I honestly, this one I think made me laugh the hardest for one specific scene.
I think I know the one.
Yeah, I bet you do. So Yes People is it revolves around this apartment building. It's got an older couple, kind of a middle-aged couple, and then a mom and her teenage son. And pretty much every line in this short is some version of the word yes, where it's yes, yeah, something like that. It's just them saying those words over and over again to different situation.
Except when they say no.
The one time they say no at the end.
The very end.
Yeah. And it's just basically them going through their day. The old man and his very eccentric wife, who I love those two, to be honest. And we'll get to why they gave me the biggest laugh out of this. The old man is just outside shoveling snow all day. We have the middle-aged couple who the husband is just an overweight office person. His wife is a struggling alcoholic.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the mom who stays home and I guess teaches music to kids, and then we obviously have the teenage boy who goes to school all day. And it's just about them just getting into weird situations, weird everyday situations, just to comical effect. So, Melanie, you're our guest here. What did you think about this short?
I thought it was super cute. I thought the part where the mom is singing out at the door to get her son to wake up was really funny, because that's the exact kind of mom I want to be.
I can see that.
Fucks with my kids, and then the part where she's trying to teach the kid the recorder is just so good, because we were both there's just no way that the recorder could ever sound good. It's just not an instrument meant to be good.
At least not solo, in a larger wind ensemble.
No, the recorder is an abomination, and I don't understand why every school in America forces children to learn it, and it is the most ear-piercingly horrible instrument ever created.
And the mom was just yeah. It was so funny.
No, honey.
You got some strong opinions on the recorder here. I had no idea there was such a stigma about it.
Did you play recorder?
Did I? No, yeah. I didn't take music in school. I really wish I had. I wish I had in hindsight.
I don't know about Melanie.
Yeah, we had to do it.
Well, yeah, because we took music class in elementary school, and I specifically remember in 3rd or 4th grade, there were just that year that said, you're going to learn the recorder now, and everybody's going to record it, and it was the most awful thing ever. Not so much the learning about it, just the noise it made.
Yeah.
No, in middle school
home
and
with
high
that thing, and your parents are just oh my God.
I don't know how my parents weren't driven to madness, but
middle and high school, it was just as an elective, so a lot of my electives just dealt with art and computers and all that type of shit. So, but like I said, in hindsight, because I got into playing music after I left high school, so I really wish I had gotten into that more when I was in grade school and stuff. But no, unfortunately, I didn't.
And then on a different note is the part that made me the parts of that made me really sad was the wife that's struggling with alcoholism. You show in the whole movie, she's just trying to seek affection from her husband. So in the beginning, he's going to work and she has to remind him to kiss her goodbye. And then later she tries to start to have sex or something with him, and he just turns the TV up or something. And then it's really sad because then she falls asleep, she's drunk. And she falls asleep and falls off the table. And when she wakes up, she's alone. She's it's really sad. And she's struggling with the fact that, she has, it's just, so she just gives this look where she's just oh, I need to get my shit together, but it's so hard. It was just sad.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it definitely does sort of counteract with the rest of the short, which is all played up for
right. And I was almost oh, baby, help her.
Yeah, it was just weird to have that one bit of actual real world tragedy surrounded just by all this goofy shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that was kind of the point of the short, is because sometimes things like that can go overlooked.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, but
no, I agree.
Art's all up for interpretation.
I think the reason maybe it stood out to me the most is because where JD and I live, we have this drunk old lady that lives across the street.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really sad.
No, it's very sad.
It's very tragic.
Yeah.
What's JD? So, because I feel like if you ask me what my favorite part of it was, I'm going to say the exact same thing that you're going to say.
Okay,
So
I just mostly just want to talk about the older couple in this because I fucking love them. So for one thing, like the wife is just like what I imagine Mel. Basically, these old people is what I imagine me and Melanie are going to be like as old people.
Especially when he walks in and rips a huge fart.
No, it's like just the first thing you like basically see them is they're having breakfast or lunch or whatever, and just like the wife is just loudly eating soup and it's just driving the husband insane, so he just turns the radio up louder.
Are you trying to tell me I'm a bad eater?
No, it's just I hate the sound of chewing from anybody.
She wasn't chewing, she was slurping.
I hate food sounds from people.
Mouth sounds.
Yeah.
Lippy snappy noises.
Yeah, but I think the three of us are in agreement about this, about our favorite part of this entire thing. It's just like out of nowhere, the wife comes in, like crosses the doorway while the husband's in the kitchen, and then she like sneaks back and puts her leg up on the fucking door frame, and the old guy's just basically like, hot damn. And then it just cuts to like all the other apartments, and you just hear the old people loudly having sex in the background.
Yeah.
Good for
just for like a minute straight.
No, but my favorite part of that was the delayed reaction. Like, it's the wife like puts the leg up on the door frame, it disappears. He's like drinking his coffee.
Yeah.
It takes him like a few seconds, and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and then like he puts this and like runs out of the room. Like, that was it that got me really good.
Yeah, and just like seeing everyone else's reaction to it, just like the son and the mom are having dinner, and he's like really grossed out by it, and the mom's trying to play it off.
Yeah.
So
It's
good.
great.
Oh, so that, I like this short. Like, I know it's not gonna win, but it made me laugh. So
It was a funny short, and
was
the
fun.
style of it was neat too. It's because it's a CG animated, but it's
It like looks
everything
stop
is
motion.
everything is stylized. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it has to be like CG, right?
I think
it does.
I think it's CG.
Yeah, because it looks
I think
like
it's cool when they make CG look like stop motion though.
yeah, which is like a common thing. But then everything is sort of like stylized, like it's either everything's like really round or really sharp, like like the noses and like the everything like that. It's a fun stylization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I wouldn't have picked up that it was Icelandic. I thought it was I thought it was definitely from that region, but I wouldn't have picked out Iceland specifically.
Jaw.
Yeah. It was interesting to see something coming from them.
And then in the very end, it starts like blizzarding.
Oh my god!
But JD was like, well, what do you fucking expect? You live in Iceland, like,
Kind of, yeah.
like, why would you shovel your snow?
I mean, I get it that he's like, oh, it's shoveling. It's just like it was just so perfectly like pointed that the fact he spent his entire day shoveling snow, came back, boned his wife. And then, like, he goes to like back into the kitchen at night, and it's snowing again. Basically, just undoing everything he did.
It made me wonder if they were the landlords, because otherwise, why the fuck would he be doing that?
Yeah, I wonder if he was like the building super or something.
I could see that.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, fun short.
Yeah, for sure.
And stuff.
We'll go ahead and move on to Genius Loki, the short that I don't know about you guys confused me the most.
Favorite. It was my favorite one. I loved that short so much. I've been to everyone that I can send a link to.
I liked it aesthetically. I have no idea what was going on.
Right.
Most of the time.
I would pick up on a couple of things, and we'd be like, racism is bad, or yay lesbians or something. But like overall, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, I just didn't understand if the main character in this, because we follow this girl through the through the whole short, and I couldn't understand if she was like maybe like an addict, and that's why the worldview was messed up, or if maybe she had like a mental illness. They never really say, and maybe that is up for interpretation or something. But Matt, maybe since you like this one a lot, maybe you can kind of like interpret what was going on.
Well, so at least right before recording, I actually looked up because I wanted to find the pronunciation. I believe it's Genius Loci, and I think it's I can't remember where exactly it originates from, like the meaning of it, but I believe it. Oh, it's Roman, I think. And basically Genius Loci is like it refers to like the protective spirit of a location or a place. And there's that part in there where she's kind of like in there with like the gal that's playing like on the organ and stuff with like the people like in the, I'm not sure if it was like a church or something, but it was like a building, but I think that's what the title of it is referring to. As far as like the content of it, yeah, I think it's attacking like a lot of different themes and topics. And it's only like, I think like 15 minutes or something short of that. So there's like a lot of it's very dense with that sort of thing, but also just it's counteracted with like the visual style of it is like incredible. It's like this combination of like very, very abstract and surrealist. Like,
well, I think the thing that I really liked about this is that it is constantly changing mediums.
Yeah,
like there, like a lot of it is like stylized in watercolor. There's parts that are like in colored pencils, like you said, Matt. There's a lot of abstract shapes, and an animation style I never thought I'd actually see is like linoleum prints being animated.
Yeah, and it was really interesting just because like a lot of it's like because it's constantly the framing and like how scenes are playing out and stuff. Like a lot of the stuff is intentionally left in there, but it looks like they're like kind of framing stuff for like certain shots. Like it looks like they just took photos right off of like the like it's like how something like you take photos of like something that was done to like be a frame inside of like a larger picture, but like they're like zoomed out and it's showing like all the extra area beyond it. And I think it's definitely playing with like the medium as sort of like a meta aspect of it, I guess.
It reminded me of there's an artist named like Jean Basquiat or something, and a lot of the like flashing stuff reminded me a lot of his art. It seemed like it was a lot of like combination of different artists. I have no idea if that's actually, or like Paul Klee. I felt like some of this stuff looked like him as well. I'm probably overthinking it, but
right, yeah, I'm not really familiar with like any like major artists as part of like whatever sort of style like you would categorize this in. Like I'm sure there's like a lot of influence from and certain inspirations here and there.
I have no knowledge of fine artists.
I just know that like as an overall product and just everything like it's so good. Like it's such a gorgeous short. Like I mentioned, I'm trying to like get all my artist friends that love this sort of stuff to like I'm making sure that they all watch it because it's like it's incredible. Like I want to look to see what else the creators of the team on this short, like whatever else they did, because if it's anything like this, like I could just like watch this shit like for on loop. Like
I mean, out of all these shorts, I mean, opera pending because we haven't seen it. This is definitely the most visually interesting and most visually ambitious short. It is all over the place but still cohesive.
I'd like to rewatch it just to see if I could understand it a little bit, but I do feel like maybe it falls more in the realm of maybe she's an addict.
That's kind of how I took it.
Because it seemed like when she was talking to the musician girl, the musician girl was like, "Yeah, remember you took my jumper?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't even remember that." And so I was like, "Oh, maybe, she's under the influence of something."
And there's like the whole scene there where the musician's trying to talk, and she's like constantly going, "Could you repeat that? I didn't get that."
Like going in and out.
And then like just the whole scene after that, it's just like it seems like kind of like going through withdrawals or something. She's destroying the environment around her, and like
well
that sort of thing.
That scene actually was what kind of made me think that maybe she was mentally ill. Is that like she was going in and out of
consciousness,
not consciousness, just mentally going in and out of just like not being able to understand what's going on around her.
Like maybe it's like too much to handle, like a
maybe like
reaction or something.
That, or maybe she's like somewhat schizophrenic or something.
No, and that's why the visual style of the short works so well in conjunction with that, because it's like very disjointed, like sort of flowing in and out of like how things are perceived, and like
I mean it definitely represents her confusion really well.
Yeah.
Especially with how much the animation keeps changing, depending on the what's going on at the time.
Yeah.
Mel, did you have anything else you wanted to say about this one?
I liked the art. I thought there's a lot of little details that were well done. We mentioned there was a cool part that looked like it was like lino cut prints. Am I saying that right? Is that lino cut?
Linoleum, I think.
Linoleum. Looked cool. So it seemed like it was a very explorative medium.
Yeah, totally.
Playing around with a lot of different mediums. So that was really cool.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to pressing short. If anything happens, I love you. This was actually put out. Netflix put out like 3 shorts that were kind of like covering topical issues. I know we watched the one before this. I can't remember what it's called, and there was one after it dealing about like police brutality that I don't think we've watched yet, but it is on Netflix.
I had no idea that there was other shorts.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them. I think they're all done by different people, but Netflix kind of has been put them out like every couple of months back in the fall. Just kind of like as a like here's our
cool.
I don't know. They put them out as a thing.
Right.
This one is very depressing. It deals basically with a husband and wife having their relationship breaking down after losing their teenage daughter to a school shooting.
Is she a teenager? She seemed like a kid.
Wikipedia
their daughter.
Wikipedia says preteen, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was run by the Sandy Hook people, right? And Sandy Hook was an elementary school, so.
I'm not sure.
She seemed on the younger side.
Anyway, yeah sorry. Details.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it is just heartbreaking just watching these parents, like everything in their home reminds them of their daughter, and you could just see that this tragedy, how like deeply it's impacted their lives, their relationships with each other. And it is just like them trying to figure out how to move forward and move on with their lives, but not forgetting this tragedy. And it really hurts to watch.
Yeah, no, I definitely teared up a bit during it. And it sucked because like when I watched through all the shorts, this was like the first one I watched, and then I had to watch the rest of them after. And I'm like, oh my god!
I think it was the first one we watched too.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And I think we watched this back in I think November when it came out.
But yeah, the whole short's like it's there's a lot of like static sort of like posing and stuff. Like it's not it is animated, but it's very I guess limited animation would be like the correct term for it, because there's like it seems more like it's a storyboard type, like but it's tied together with like a lot of it just has to do with it's the husband and the wife, and like just going through through the house and stuff, but like they're just sort of like aloof, but like their shadows are kind of displaying their actual emotions that they're kind of like masked, the real emotions that they're masking with, and then like through happenstance the mom actually drops like the kid's like soccer ball or something. It rolls into the room and like hits like a vinyl player that like releases this shadow of the child, and like it just sort of brings the parents together, and they're just sort of reminiscing about the kids like life and stuff that going on, trips to the Grand Canyon, and like like painting the house like after hitting it, them knocking like the paint off of it and stuff. The reason why this especially hits is because for pretty much the entire short, except for like the last minute and a half, it's like that it's like it's these parents, and like they're lamenting like their daughter, like you don't know the cause of it,
right? The just having, because you're just seeing these flashbacks of the parents with the kid throughout the whole thing, and you're like, oh, like obviously she's gone. Did she like, what happened to her? Did she like get sick or something? And you're just like waiting to like figure out what happened. And then it gets to the scene where they're like sending her off to school, and then
like
it
these
shows us.
shadows are like trying to like pull her back or like keep her from like entering the building, and like it does that
Right,
for like a good minute.
and then you see the shadow of the shooter and through the come into the building, and then you see the text, which is the title of the short.
It's like
and she's not coming back from that. So just seeing that is just heartbreaking, and like to know that there's been over the last couple of years especially just so many instances of like this happening, and just like how it just keeps happening, and like there's been little I feel there's been little to like done to really prevent it. I know there's a lot
we just had fucking like we've had so many shootings just in the last like week, like or the last 2 weeks. Like
yeah,
a lot of this stuff is kind of not as present during like the majority of like the COVID lockdown, just because everyone was closed.
I was going
like,
to say
schools
the
and
one.
stuff.
I feel like the one good thing to come out of COVID is that no one was at school, so there was not a lot, if any, school shootings this past year.
I mean, then businesses weren't open, and like all
Yeah,
that type
so
of like and
no
so
one had an
now you've got
opportunity, but
yeah, and it sucks. It's just but it's just it's the world that we live in. It's just it's yeah, it's awful. It
yeah,
sucks, and
and
like to see it on display, in the short where they, it's just because it's so emotional because you can like relate to like
Mhm.
that could easily be those parents could easily be like anyone. It could be you.
And
It could be somebody like.
yeah, and that's actually Melanie. If you're comfortable talking about this, like Melanie, you are a teacher. You work with children every day, and I'm sure in the back of your mind somewhere, this kind of stuff is in your mind. Like how did you like kind of react to this, and like how is that every day for you? To like just know that is a possibility.
It's hard, obviously the short cuts deep and it's hard to talk about without choking up a bit. I remember I was in college, going into teaching when the Sandy Hook shooting happened, and I just remember feeling sick, and for like a whole day I didn't even want to leave my home.
I remember that.
And then recently in the past couple of years there was a big Florida shooting. And then, there's a documentary about the Florida shooting on Amazon Prime that was really hard to watch. And I interviewed some of the parents, and it's really hard when you think you're sending your kids somewhere that is supposed to nurture them, and the fact that it's so easy for this to happen,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have to do a lot of shooter drills. And it's really scary. And we've had to have conversations of, if you close your door in a lockdown and there's a kid in the hallway screaming for help, you're not allowed to like open the door and save them. And that's a fucking horrible thing to be told. Like,
Yeah.
you basically have to let a kid die to save the rest in your classroom.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's rough.
And I won't lie, there have been moments where I'll hear kids like screaming or running or something pounding or things like that, and it's usually always a joke, but it always gets my heart racing.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah, and it's always one of those things, like by instinct I run out in the hallway to see what's going on,
Mhm.
and in that Florida documentary, that's how some teachers were killed. So I am very grateful for this short. I think it's really fucking important, because at the end of the day, this is a tragedy, and it's a continuing tragedy. And at
Mhm.
what point will we finally say, hey, maybe it's not so great kids are being murdered at school,
Right.
Yeah.
And I could go on, I really could. But it was a beautiful short. The title was what the little girl texted before she died.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a mistake earlier when I said it was based off Sandy Hook. I was getting that confused with like that Target ad. Did you guys ever see that?
I don't remember.
I think so. I work
It's
at
like a
Target,
back-
so I'm kidding. Well, yeah, because we do like like active shooter like training and stuff there too.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff kind of rolled up for me. So
I believe it was a Target ad, but it was basically like an advertisement for like back to school, and all the kids like, yeah, I got this cool new binder. It'll be great for protecting me against bullet wounds or something.
Right. Yeah. I don't
It's
think
just
that was
so
Target.
fucked up.
I think that might have been like something else. But yeah, no, I know the thing you're talking about.
Yeah, but at the end of that, it says it was paid for by the Sandy Hook
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely influenced it at least. Like if it wasn't directly.
I mean, yeah, that and just the number of shootings that have happened over the last couple of years. I just want to give credit to this short because I do like that it sheds light on how it does affect families when this kind of stuff happens. But I also admire it for especially me and Matt, who we don't have children and don't have regular interactions with children, can still kind of get an emotional reaction from this. Just sympathizing with how horrible.
Look, you don't have to have kids to know that when you hear on the news a bunch of first graders were shot and murdered. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The last thing you expect when you send your kid off to school is that you're going to get this phone call, and you shouldn't have to expect it.
No.
And I think a lot of people, when we hear about shootings, we think, oh, well, there's another one, and we just kind of move on with our day. And that's so fucked up. Like,
it sucks that it's become so commonplace that it kind of everyone becomes like numb to it, which I mean is unfortunate, but it's just like that
is
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that could go on, but
the
a podcast on school shootings. So
yeah.
But the short is, it's great. It's on Netflix. If you have it, you should definitely check it out. Just make sure you're in the proper mindset for it.
Yeah, right. You know what you're getting into if you're sensitive to heavy material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To wrap up
and to cap it off, let's talk about this very.
Let's talk about the cutest one of this. And it's Pixar.
But not in this.
Not the way you're expecting.
Yeah, because if you watch this and you didn't know it was Pixar, I would just thought it was. I don't even think that this was Disney when I saw this. Like it was so. It's so non-Disney, non-Pixar that I was surprised that it was either of them. Like when I saw.
Yeah. I mean, with the Pixar Spark shorts they're putting out, I feel like they've been trying to really push.
Creator-driven, sort of.
Creator-driven, but also kind of like different stylistically.
Yeah.
And with this one, it was really nice because they actually went back to doing traditional 2D animation for this. And it's really simple. It's just about this rabbit who is, digging his first burrow, and he's got his plan for how he wants it to be, and he digs it out, but he finds out there's all these other critters living down underneath, and they're kind of intruding on his thing. They want to oh, here, we can help with your plan and we can make it better and stuff. But he's like, no, I just want to do my own thing. So he keeps burrowing down further and further, but just keeps running into more and more people that are living down here. No, it's just it is a light and fluffy.
It's just cute, yeah.
It is
fluffy.
super cute.
Yeah, no, it's definitely check this out if you got Disney Plus. It's on there. The thing is, I haven't really gotten around to watching any of the other Spark shorts, so I was kind of unfamiliar with like any of the other stuff that's come out recently for that.
Yeah, one last year, which killed me.
Right?
Kit Bull. The fact that Kit Bull, like Hair Love, was good, and I get that what it was like represents and every stuff. I really liked Kit Bull, and I really wish it would have won.
Did Hair Love win last year?
Hair Love won, yeah.
Okay, because I remember that was Hair Love and Kitbull were the only ones that were available to watch of those ones. So, yeah, I hadn't watched them because I wanted to remain sort of impartial since I wasn't able to watch all of them. At least with this year, we were able to watch all but one of them. So I definitely wanted to make sure I caught them all. But
right,
yeah.
Matt, what did you think about Burrow?
I loved it. I thought it was very cute. But yeah, like I said, just I wouldn't have been able to tell you that it was Disney or Pixar. But yeah, no, I love the style of this. It just was very like, I don't want to say like, Ghibli influence, but it's got like this sort of like attention to sort of expressions and sort of like, like character sort of movement and posing and stuff. At least, that's probably a better way to kind of articulate that, but that was just what came to mind. But yeah, no, it's a super fun short. I love this. It's definitely like I feel like we can just move on to talking about like who we think will.
Well, Mel, did you have anything you want to say about Burrow?
No, I mean it's nothing, artsy fartsy. It's just cute. Yeah. You don't need to scratch the surface too hard with that one.
No,
so.
Not really.
Not like the other fucking two.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, Matt, you're saying I guess we can. I guess I would kind of just like to for all of us to kind of just like say what we would like to win and what we think is gonna win.
Yeah. Okay.
Mel, why don't you go first?
Oh, geez. What I would like to win is the school shooting one.
Mm-hmm.
If anything happens, I love you.
Yeah.
What I think will win is probably that one. I actually think it might win. I think it's so like it's gonna sound really bad. I think it's hitting what the Academy Awards are gonna want because it's bringing up something really important. I think like artistically wise though, Genius Loci is really, really cool. But I think one that people are going to probably remember longer is If Anything Happens, I Love You. I think that one's it leaves a space in your head,
Yeah. I am half there with you, Mel. Out of all these shorts, I definitely think If Anything Happens, definitely deserves it. Realistically, I think Burrow's going to win.
Yeah.
Only because we know that the Academy is full of a bunch of old people, and all the old people who have said on record basically just vote for whatever their kids and grandkids tell them to watch. And it's Pixar. Kids watch Pixar on Disney Plus. They're going to tell their grandparents, if their grandparents ask, "Oh, which of these shorts did you like?" They're going to ask these little 6-year-olds, "Which one did you watch?" And like, "Oh, I like the one with the cute bunny."
Yeah, well, and I think just Disney in general, because
they're gonna see Disney Pixar on it and like, oh yeah, I know that name. Vote for that.
I read it was like a bunch of interviews or something about how they choose the animated shorts, and it was like 9 times out of 10 they're like, I didn't watch any of them. I just voted for this one because it's Disney.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the point. That's always just like, yeah, it's really hard because a lot of the points that you're making about If Anything Happens, I Love You, probably being a very likely contender, I definitely agree with. I would agree with. I would think that it would be a shoo-in if it were like a if there was a live action version of that. Then it would absolutely be a shoo-in. But because for the shorts there is a Disney short available, and it's likely that a lot of these judges will not watch everything. Like as far as the shorts, so I mean there are instances of outliers.
Kitbull wasn't it a Disney or Pixar short? I thought.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. There are outliers for this sort of thing. So like 2 years ago, there was like some for at least the feature Into the Spider-Verse one, and that was the first time a non-Disney movie had won in a while. But that was only great. That was because and along with Hair Love, because I believe that was Sony as well.
I think Hair Love was DreamWorks.
Was it? Okay.
No, you might be right.
I thought it was independent. I really don't remember.
The point being that non-Disney and stuff, and it's and it sucks to have to say, oh, it's Disney, so it's a shoo-in to win. But like I said, there are outliers because certain shorts and certain features they get so much attention like through social media and like everything that like it's hard for the Academy judges that do those categories to ignore that sort of thing. Because it's.
Oh, Matt, I just chiming in real quick. You are right. It is from Sony. Interesting fact, it was paired with the Angry Birds movie too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Fun fact, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no. So it's just, I already kind of made my piece about it.
I this is going to sound, Hair Love was really cute and adorable and I loved it. And I thought the messages were great. I think it only won though because the Academy Awards is on this kick of trying to prove they're not racist.
That's exactly that was the same thing Kyle said when we did last year's Oscar show. And honestly, I feel like there is a degree of truth to that for sure.
Yeah, like did they actually watch it? Did they actually care?
Well, that like the hosts of like the Golden Globes and the Oscars and stuff are like constantly making jokes about it every year.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of big jokes.
Where's all the black nominees?
Exactly. And, it's jokes are jokes, but it's like, when are they actually going to do anything to rectify
I know, right?
Like, this shit.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
Like, I'm still shocked Parasite won Best Picture last year.
Me too.
Like, a Korean film completely in Korean won Best Picture, and I love the little snark thing about subtitles they made in their speech.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But yeah, just so back on about the short films, I feel like yes, and the other thing too is you got to take into consideration is availability too, because of course, like for the judges and stuff, like all the shorts will be made available to them. But if you're just talking about like strictly on a availability to the general audiences and stuff, Burrow is on Disney Plus, and then If Anything Happens, I Love You's on Netflix, and the other and then one of them's not even available anywhere. The other two, like Yes People, I saw on YouTube, and then I found a Vimeo link for Genius Loci. So they're not like on any stream or anything like.
So I don't know if we're gonna move on from the shorts to the
Yeah, we will in a minute.
Well, yeah. So I would just wanted to say that I feel like it's very likely that Burrow will just end up taking the award. But as far as what I feel deserves it, I feel like it's hard to say because, If Anything Happens, I Love You definitely has like the stronger message. But I think just in terms of animation and stuff, Genius Loci is like does some incredible things that like, and it's really hard to quantify or not quantify. It's really hard to sort of. There's a lot of variety. There's a variety of factors to judge from, and it's hard to tell. Like, of course, certain aspects will appeal more to certain judges than others. So if it were me, I would on the judge, on the board of judges or whatever, I would put in my vote for Genius Loci because I just that. The style of it's incredible, but like just based on a specific message of being a very sort of If Anything Happens, I Love You,
Right.
And that's not to discredit the other ones up for this award, and that's the other thing too. Even for this stuff, we would say because it's Disney, it'll win, and that sucks because, and we'll talk about this as far as the features go. But yeah, because even the stuff that's it's Disney or it's Pixar, it's like and that's not to discredit them. That's just
no. I mean, it's just quality. It's just they win every time.
Yeah, and it just becomes
only because of name. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not to say that they're bad movies. It's just that they will. It's unfortunate.
It's not fair that everything's not taken into serious consideration.
Right.
Given.
And this is a lot of the reason why. We were originally not even gonna plan to do an Oscar show this year because it was just originally it's like I think we all know that Disney is gonna win this year.
Yeah,
I mean
the films anyway.
Pixar's got two dogs in the fight this year. So
I would be willing to stake a lot on Soul being the winner.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Honestly. I feel like the short film crop this year is really good. there's not a bad one in there. So if any of them wins, awesome.
I mean, like we said, we didn't get, none of us could watch opera because nobody can watch opera.
Right. Opera could be terrible for all I know.
I'm sure it's great, but it could not be great. We have no idea. It is just it's there in the air, like it's in the ether, like with no idea. All we know is the name and the logo.
It exists.
Well, we're going to take a quick break real quick, and when we come back, we will talk about the features nominated this year, so stick around for that.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at the Geekly Grind.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to be talking about the animated feature film nominees for this year. On the lineup this year, we've got two options from Pixar. We've got Onward, which, if you've been following the podcast, is the movie I keep forgetting is made by Pixar.
Yeah, that has come up a few times now.
Yeah, it's a running joke at this point.
Yeah.
We also have Soul. We've got Glenn Keane's newest movie from Netflix, Over the Moon.
Very cute.
We've also got Cartoon Saloon's movie Wolfwalkers, which you can watch on Apple Plus. We also have. Okay, so I just want to say, when the Golden Globes came out with their nominees for animated feature, it is almost exactly this list, except they switched out the Crude sequel for Shaun the Sheep. I don't understand why. I guess maybe because they wanted some stop motion.
And listen,
stop motion?
Yes. It's done by Aardman, so it's the same people that do like Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, well, shoot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like, look, like I'll take any stop motion representation we can get.
Yeah.
But, you know, even though they always get shafted at these awards, that was, I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last Oscar show, but I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on the show before. The exact moment that I lost complete faith in the Academy was for the 2009 Academy Awards, and I remember this without having to look up a list of the nominees. It was Princess and the Frog, it was Coraline, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Secret of Kells, and Up. And Up won. And against all those other movies, which are like, and yeah, Up is a fine Pixar film. The first 20 minutes of it are probably some of the best. It's like the best intro to like a Pixar movie that's been done. But the rest of the movie is just whatever.
No. I'm so glad you say that, because I have always thought that, and people like want to fucking crucify me. When I say that.
The first 10 minutes of Up, you know, masterclass filmmaking. The rest of that movie, serviceable.
Like the goofy bird,
movie.
I don't care. The villain, how he's like 200 years old. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
that never really made any sense.
But
no,
yeah,
those other four movies are infinitely better.
Yeah, just the rest of the crop, because you got like Princess and the Frog, which was like the first like traditional animated Disney movie in quite a while, and then and that's to say it's Disney, but at least it's it was unconventional for Disney to do another 2D animated film at that time, and that movie's as far as like those movies go for Disney, like that one's great. You've got two stop motion candidates in Coraline and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and like that's Laika's first movie, and then you got Wes Anderson,
Anderson's first animated.
Oh, and you think like Wes Anderson, like he's like darling for that sort of thing too, so like very likely, and then it was a Cartoon Saloon's first feature too, Secret of Kells, and they have a contender this year in Wolfwalkers, so. And it's just like
win again.
No, that's the thing. Like they keep on getting shafted too between like the just stop motion.
Like Cartoon Saloon is like phenomenal.
No, and like I feel that way about Laika. Like for Laika,
Laika,
Coraline, Paranorman, Kubo,
Kubo
at
was
least
beautiful.
yeah, and like paranormal and
Right.
box trolls and Missing Link and stuff. Those last two, like very much like them, but like those first three I mentioned are like the best of the best for
Right.
Leica. But
The
like those
Paranorman's really good.
but yeah, Leica movies and Cartoon Saloon movies always end like the year that they're released, they always end up being up for these awards, but they never take it because they're up against
Hmm.
Disney or Pixar. And it's
Yeah.
just it sucks because like they keep on getting
So I wanted to say this. This is what I wanted to say earlier. It's frustrating because I don't really know how the Academy is selected. I don't know who's in the Academy. I don't really know how that works. What I do
bunch
know,
of old fogies.
yeah, what I do know is no one in it is like animators or artists or people who appreciate the skill and art of animation,
Yeah.
And it's really annoying because it's such an incredible industry that I feel like rakes in so much money at the box offices. Really.
Well, I feel like the entire the fact that there's just like an umbrella animated award instead of
Right.
like having because animation is not fucking it's
Animation's
not a genre.
They're all
Yeah.
so different. Like, yeah, I mean, my God. Anyway, it's just so frustrating. And it's just like, I mean, it's the same argument I have about the arts and education. It's just, it goes underappreciated because the people making the decisions aren't the ones.
They don't understand the work that goes into
It's
it.
so much work. And I mean, my God, you could argue it's just as much time and energy as any live action movie.
Oh, absolutely.
People pulling all-nighters and the technology you need to know to do it.
And just like how technology is just advanced.
Right, like
I mean, not even just to speak how undervalued animation is. This category wasn't even invented until 2001.
mm-hmm.
Right, and I think the first movie
Shrek were up.
I think Shrek won the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was stupid because Spirit was so beautiful.
Yeah, but listen,
Spirit wasn't. Spirit was was in 2002. It lost to Spirited Away.
I'm so confused.
Yeah,
I thought Spirit.
The first one was Shrek, Jimmy Neutron, and Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
Really? I thought DreamWorks had two up. Well, we'll go into that later anyway.
Let's not discredit Shrek.
I do want to make a quick side note. What the fuck was going on in 2010? The only nominations were Toy Story 3, How to Train Your Dragon, and The Illusionist. Why only 3?
What was the last one?
The Illusionist.
Oh, right.
It's that like silent French film about the magician.
Right.
I like that movie actually.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's crazy that there's just like the 3 nominees. Like
I know, like every year has at least 5 usually.
Well, I mean now they do like for the animation at least, but
I think they cap animation.
Yeah.
Which
Baby,
they did.
keep cutting out.
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, yeah, because I think, there was 2001 when they started doing the animation category, but then before that, I think the only time, at least for like for the actual film itself, and not for like soundtrack or visual effects or whatever else. I know like Beauty and the Beast actually made it on for Best Picture, right? Like of the year that it came out.
Yeah, right, yeah, and Lion King, I think.
It's one or the other. Yeah, it was something like that. But that was kind of what led to the creation of that. Anyway, to just make a long story short, I think all the animators out there know that the Annie Awards are kind of like the actual Oscars for animation.
Yeah.
Like,
which is weird because I don't think I've watched a single Annie Awards ceremony.
Right. Well, I mean, because it's like the Oscars, it's like a big ass like production for like Hollywood. It's the Hollywood elite, yeah, and it's so animation just kind of like
elite, he's like their own asses.
Yeah, that's just kind of like the small kids table, like at that whole big event. So yeah, maybe we should do fucking Annie Awards show some year.
We probably should, honestly, like just do a live show where we just watch it live and do live commentary or something.
Live reactions to.
I'm down, man. So before we really get into, well, I think we could probably ask Melanie what she thinks about a couple of these movies, since I don't think she was on any of the reviews for us. But before we do that, Matt, you were the only one of us that had watched the Shaun the Sheep movie. So why don't you tell us what it was, what your opinions on it were?
Sure. So yeah, we did mention this, but basically we've already covered all the nominees for Best Feature except for Shaun the Sheep. And I think that was just because we must have I don't even know what else would have been coming
Because
out.
I
Like
forgot it came out.
right,
I
and I
didn't
mean,
even know it came out. I had no idea it existed.
I didn't
Right.
either. When it showed up, I'm like, did that come out like 2 years ago?
so for anyone that doesn't know what Shaun the Sheep is, it's it's done by Aardman Animations. It's the same people that do like Wallace and Gromit. And so basically, Shaun the Sheep, I believe, originated as a television show, and then
Well, Shaun the Sheep is a spinoff from Wallace and Gromit.
Is it?
I think Shaun showed up like in a Wallace and Gromit short, and they're like, okay, we're gonna make a bunch of shorts based on this sheep.
Oh wow, no, I didn't know anything about that. So here's the other note: is that as much of a fan of stop motion and all that I'm actually not that familiar with Aardman stuff. Like I've seen the Wallace and Gromit shorts, like when they've played them on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, but I haven't revisited them since then. I didn't watch Curse of the Were-Rabbit. I only watched I didn't watch Flushed Away. I haven't watched like Shaun the Sheep or anything like that. I did watch Arthur Christmas for this show, and then didn't even know that was Aardman because it doesn't have that Aardman style.
Stop motion.
No, I know, and it's not stop motion. It doesn't have that very trademark Aardman look to it. Like,
the Nick Park
or Nick, okay,
character designs.
Yeah, so those designs are synonymous with Aardman, so it's hard to like separate the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I really should become more familiar with their work. Well, no, because actually, you told me that Angry Kid is Aardman, right?
It sure is.
So our Angry Kid, I'm very familiar with because I loved those shorts growing up. Angry Kid is amazing.
You would hate Angry Kid. It's kind of unnerving the way it's like they basically animated this really gross cartoonish head on top of a live actor. And it's just this series of shorts of this asshole little British kid.
We're gonna talk about Angry Kid on the show someday. I'll make sure that happens.
I'm down.
But yeah, so Shaun the Sheep, done by Aardman, started as a television show, and then they've done. I think
second movie. I think.
Is this the second movie? I know that they've been doing stuff specifically for Netflix. I believe this movie was for Netflix. It's like a Netflix original or something like that. But yeah, so basically what Shaun the Sheep, a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon is the full title. And it's basically Shaun and all the other sheep. They're just sort of fucking around, and like there's an alien ship that crashes, and Shaun and this alien called Lula, I think if I remember right. They meet. There's a bunch of shenanigans that happen. Basically, the alien craze is hitting wherever this is supposed to take place. It's like Britain. There's a lot of fixation on fries, chips, and whatever the hell they do over there, like salt and like malt or whatever.
Yeah, I think Shaun the Sheep just takes place in some like tiny village, British village out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah,
it's very British. It's like Doctor Who references and like that sort of thing. Like, it's a fun movie. Like and it's stop motion. It's animated beautifully. Like the other note I should make too is just like that Nick Park animation style. Like it's a little bit hard for me to get into. Like I don't know what it is. And it's not to say I don't enjoy it. It's just hard for me to get into it more so than other stop motion things I really enjoy. Like any of the Laika movies, like I immensely enjoy Laika movies, and even those look different enough from each other, but still have this aesthetic that I really enjoy. But because all the Aardman ones are done with the Nick Park designs, they all look the same aesthetically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's. The movie itself is fine. It's fun. It's all alien based, so I'm into that. But there's no dialogue, and it's just very sort of it's definitely geared towards kids, which is and that's completely fine. But yeah, I'm sure if you put this on for your kids, they'll enjoy it and stuff. This is just like mini review basically. So. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's if you have Netflix, it's on there. It's fun to have on in the background. It's a bunch of visual gags. You don't have to worry about getting totally invested in like a plot or anything. So
yeah.
So
I guess I just kind of want to do little brief reviews with you, Mel, since I know what your opinions on these mostly are because we watched a lot of these together. So we'll just kind of go down the list here, and you can just kind of give us your brief opinions on them. So, Melanie, what did you think of Onward?
I mean, it was a movie.
That's a good way of putting it.
I mean, I didn't dislike it. It's not something I'm like, can't wait to watch that again. The best part was like the ending, spoilers, when he like so the whole movie this kid was like, I need to meet my dad. I've never met my dad. And then in the end he's like, nah man, it's cool. You go talk to dad. And I was like fucking bawling. I was like, ah.
He had a brother dad the whole time.
Brother dad. I get that. I thought that was really cute. And so I cried like a baby. But I feel like everything up until that point though, I just didn't really care. Like, I don't know. It was all right. I mean, it was cute. It was fine.
All right. We'll continue on the Pixar train here. What was your opinion on Soul?
I like Soul. I thought it followed the same formula as Inside Out, you know.
Same director.
Yeah, Pete Docter, right?
Oh well.
Which is Pete Docter in charge of Pixar these days?
Oh yeah, ever since John Lasseter left. Right? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Chief Creative Officer at Pixar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they put him in charge. Which I mean, I mean, he makes good movies, so
he deserves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of there were parts in Soul that kind of like spoke to me. So cheesy, I know, but so like the whole movie, you know, he's like a middle school band teacher, and he's like, well, this is just a stepping stone until I'm doing what I really want to do, what my dream is, which is performing and doing music for a living. And so I was always like that, and still a little bit of me is like that. Oh, I'm only teaching as a stepping stone until I really do my dream, which is I want to work in the animation industry. And then at the end, towards the end, when he finally gets to like do a performance, and he's like, "Wow, this is it. This is my dream." He's like, "Oh, it wasn't really what I was expecting, or you know, the hype wasn't as."
Like I thought it'd feel different.
Yeah, and then he. I don't know. I guess there wasn't really any closure with that, but I don't know. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Like, oh, I wonder if that's how I would feel. But anyway, I just thought that was cool. I enjoyed the animation was really pretty. The scenery of New York was really well done. I thought the part where they did the cat transformation was stupid, and I'm so over body switching tropes. You know, it's just like such a fucking thing. And I wasn't expecting it because I was like, I thought the whole movie was going to be about him and this. And I get why they did it, because they needed a reason for the little soul child to like have a reason to want to exist. So I get it, but I don't know. The whole part where he was a cat, I just like didn't care about that whole part.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. What about Over the Moon?
I like Over the Moon. Well, I love Glenn Keane.
He's your boy.
He's my dude. I would die to meet him. And thoughts on Over the Moon. I felt like it had almost too much going on all at once. I felt like it took a really long time for her to get to the moon place. And then when she did get to the moon place, they were still introducing new characters. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Like, it was pretty though. I really liked the animation up there. And I thought the moon goddess chick was really cool with her song. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. It was cute. I liked it. I'd watch it again. I just felt like it kind of dragged at points.
Yeah, I kind of agree there.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the part where they're like, okay, now we have to race to find this thing, and like, why was the medallion in her cookie to begin with? They never explained that, and then they were all fighting to find this thing, and then she met the what is his name? John Chen dog.
The weird hedgehog dude.
Yeah, who was voiced by that comedian.
Oh, Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong. I think. Oh my God, I butchered that.
Yeah, it was weird. You said Joan Chen. I was like, are you talking about?
I think she was talking about John Choi, who's like, The guy
Okay.
like Sulu in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
My bad.
no, because I was gonna say Joan Chen is it's funny because that is actually there's an actress of that name, and she plays a character in Twin Peaks. But I just saw her as playing a character. I watched Judge Dredd with my roommates the other day, and she plays a character in that as well.
Or the old one?
We watched both,
Oh,
but in Judge Dredd, she was in that.
So it was like, okay, her mom dies of cancer. Now her dad's dating someone. Now she's got to deal with a new brother. But now we got to go to the moon. But now we got to find a medallion on the moon. Now we got to meet this dog and get the dog to be friends again with the angel lady because that was a thing. And in the meantime, we're going to come to terms with our mom being dead. Oh, but also your brother's here. We got to be friends with our brother. And also we got to get back to the moon. And also you need to have the photograph to take back to Earth. Oh, it was like a lot. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of all that, she meets her beloved, and then and then he dies, and then they go into a sad darkness abyss, and then it was like exhausting.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, what was your opinion of Wolfwalkers?
Love Wolfwalkers. It was very pretty. I love Cartoon Saloon. I didn't like it as much as like Secret of Kells or Breadwinner. But it's very pretty. And the fact that they still do like, a bunch of hand animation in this day and age I really love and respect that they do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I probably mentioned this in the review, but I still love how they change their line art style between the different parts of the world in there, and I just thought that was a really cool aesthetic.
Yeah, for sure. It's very creative. I'm sure a lot of furries are gonna like it.
Yeah.
So
fucking furries, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, it's good to finally get your thoughts, on tape or whatever
this is.
Yeah.
Digital audio.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess I should say some positive things about Over the Moon. I felt like I dragged it through the mud when I really did enjoy it. I thought the music was fun. The characters were nice. I thought it was really fun to watch a movie based was in China. And that culture was really cool. The character was cool. The character designs were nice. The bunny was cute.
The moon bunny.
What was the other one? Oh, Soul. I dragged that one through the dirt too, didn't I? I'm so
You said something positive about Soul.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, guys, we've reviewed Onward, Over the Moon, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. So if you want to kind of get our more in-depth thoughts about that, go ahead and just search those out in our feed. So I guess we can kind of just like say which of these movies is our favorite, and then which one we honestly think is going to win.
I feel like since Mel just went through the whole list, you definitely go first.
Me?
No, Mel.
Sorry.
She just talked about them all, so I feel
right,
like right
okay,
to talk about.
So Mel, out of these 5, well, I guess technically 4. We only watched 4 of them. Which of these 4 would you'd say is your favorite?
My favorite? Gosh, I don't know. So it was Onward, Soul, Wolfwalkers, and Over the Moon.
Right.
Man, I don't know. I felt like this year was kind of a wash. Like, I know that's shitty to say.
And I definitely don't agree.
Shitty saying it. Like, none of them are really sticking out in my brain. Maybe it was just an off year for me as well. I mean, I loved Wolfwalkers. It was a delight to watch. It's one of those movies that is just an absolute feast for your eyes. God, I don't know. It's a terrible question. The one I think that's going to win is going to be Soul. I think Soul's going to win, hands down. I guess I don't really have a favorite this year. I don't know.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Okay.
I can I'm kind of in the same boat, sort of, in the sense that I don't know if I have a particular favorite. It's kind of a toss up between Soul and Wolfwalkers. I would probably say if I had to pick one, probably Wolfwalkers is my favorite of 5. Only because I enjoyed it all the way through. I like aspects of Soul. Anything that has to do with the main guy whose name is escaping me.
Jamie
Joe.
Foxx.
Joe, thank you. Jamie Foxx's character. Anything that has to do with him playing music is just amazing to watch.
I agree.
I love, and I probably said this in the review, I love that just like they did with Coco, they took footage of musicians actually playing. So when you're watching Joe play the piano, which I guess they took footage of John Batiste, who did the all the jazz compositions, and Mel and I are familiar because we watched Stephen Colbert. It's just like every when you're watching him play the piano, actual notes, and just watching the animation of him hitting the keys like that, and watching him get into playing music, that stuff is great. I love, even though it is during the body swap segment, I love the barbershop scene where he's talking to his friend, where he's like, you never really asked me about my life before, and he's like forging this new relationship with this person, even though he's not even his own body. So
I love that part too, because I love when sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I love when because Joe is talking to the soul person, where he's like, oh my gosh, he was born to cut hair. That is his calling, and da da da. And then he goes, and the guy's like, "What? I wanted to be a veterinarian. This is not my calling. Like, this is something I had to do to survive and to make money."
Yeah, and honestly, that I think, like you were saying, Mel, I think that is ultimately the meaning, the like what the purpose behind soul is like. You may think that you are put on this earth to do one particular thing, but in reality, like, your life is going to have a million ups and downs, and you're going to go through so many different things in life that, it's almost foolish to like want to tie yourself down to one particular thing when there's like so much in the world to experience.
And another thing that I really liked is that Joe is so wrapped up in becoming a musician that he kind of forgets at how he is inspiring and helping these children.
Yeah, like I love the scene where like his band student comes to his house and is like wanting to quit. But Tina Fey is in his body, but like she inspires, like the kid is like the one kid in the class that actually enjoys.
I was thinking about the drummer guy that they show.
They
show like a flashback of him as like a kid, and then now he's like a professional drummer, and he says it's like because of his teacher.
Yeah, and he like even calls him up, be like, "Oh, hey, you used to be my teacher, player, and you really inspired me. We've got an opening for a piano player in this jazz quartet. I can get you in here." So yeah, just seeing that kind of, that kind of inspiration kind of come back to Joe to help him because he helped this kid. It was kind of a nice touch there.
So I kind of like that because in Monsters University, the whole thing is about like, if you work hard enough, you'll achieve your dreams. And then in this movie, it was very much like, maybe you're already where you need to be.
Yeah. And maybe where you want to be isn't where you... Side note, I will still stand Monsters University. I don't know if it's made when we saw that, but that movie fucking hit me hard. Anyway.
I wasn't dissing it. I was just saying.
No. I'm just saying for my own sake. Honestly, I think Wolfwalkers is probably the most aesthetically interesting movie, but if Soul wins, I will not be upset about it because I think there's a lot to like about Soul. I think it's a really it does have some tropey stuff in there, but I think it's a well constructed, well animated movie. Now, if Onward wins, I might have an issue, but come on, Academy, you have 2 Pixar movies to pick from. Pick the better one,
right?
Yeah. Well, Matt, what is your final verdict on this?
Yeah, so in very much the same way, I do agree. Like, I think Soul is gonna win, but and we talked about this when we reviewed Soul, but like, it's definitely as far as Pixar movies are concerned, I feel like it's one of their very best. So, at least this time, and like I already talked about it earlier, like, it's not to decry just Disney or Pixar as a whole, but, when they do make a good movie, they do make a good movie. And, I enjoyed Onward fine enough, but like Soul is definitely something special. And if it wins, that's completely fine. I do fully expect it to win. It would be very nice to have a stop motion film win. And so like if Shaun the Sheep by some miracle won, that'd be cool. Even though it's definitely not my favorite movie on the list, which is definitely Wolfwalkers. That's my absolute favorite off of this list. I love that movie. It was fantastic. I feel like it should win. Like if it were my decision, I would vote for that. But I do think that Soul is definitely going to take it, and that's fine. But if Wolfwalkers win, it would definitely be Cartoon Saloon's like had it coming for a long time now, and I feel like they definitely do deserve.
I am so there with you. They fucking deserve some shit. Like, come on.
Yeah, and like they can win this year, and then like next time Leica's up for an award, hopefully they'll win that time, and then we'll finally get some fucking justice up in here, like
right.
And the next time Wes Anderson has a fucking stop motion movie out there too, because like his stuff is great too. But that's what I'm gonna say is that Soul is definitely gonna win. But I would really like for Wolfwalkers to win. But if Soul wins, then it is. Honestly, at this point in my experience with the Academy Awards, I've just kind of grown numb to it in general anyways. So it doesn't even matter who wins. Like
most people are like, whatever.
It would be very funny if Onward won. I would think that'd be hilarious if Onward won.
I would laugh, but also be a little bitter about it.
A little, yeah. I'll tell you
think
as far as
I think.
Sorry,
go ahead,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Wolfwalkers, Over the Moon, or Soul. All three of those, any of those could win, and I'd be fine.
Just on the note of Soul, like it is up for some other awards. It's up for best sound.
Okay,
and
I feel
like it deserves for best sound or best. It's up for original score too.
Yeah, what I was about to say. If Soul is going to win any award, I honestly want it to win. Like hands down, it needs to win best original score. If
you
only
just like John Baptiste so much.
No, it's just that I really. It's not just because I want John Baptiste to have an Oscar because I think it'd be funny and awesome for him because. I just honestly think that the jazz compositions in Soul are like just very they're very authentic because like John is a jazz musician, so getting him in there to make these very loose, very just like very emotional jazz pieces for this and it means even so much that like John is a piano player, Joe, and so I think being able to bring that to a character who is also a jazz pianist, I just think that it was really well done. Trent Reznor is also in there, who did I think a lot of for the Other World thing, and obviously he's kind of got more of a electronic-y kind of sound, but.
And he's actually up for that award twice because him and Atticus Ross also composed Mank.
Oh shit!
So they double the chance of winning for that award.
Okay, well, Trent Reznor doesn't have much to worry about then.
Honestly, fucking give Nine Inch Nails more awards. Fucking who cares? Like,
sure, why not? Well, do either of you have anything else you would like to bring up before wrapping up?
I appreciate the diversity this year in animated films and the shorts. I think it's the diversity is really important. I think I'm probably getting really like political now. I think Over the Moon is really important to show these Asian cultures, especially because of the recent shooting of the Asian women. So love to China and the discrimination they've been facing, and I mean all of Asia really, because of the stupid fucking virus bullshit. And I think the Black Lives Matters movement for Soul is really important, that we see these culture, because there was a part in Soul where the dad's showing him jazz for the first time and he's like, this is our culture. And then I was reading an interview that was like one of the guys who worked on the films talked about how important the barbershop scene was and how it really needed to be in the film, because that's a big part of African American culture. I think
Yeah, no, I think just getting. I think the last couple of years we've just been getting better at showing diverse cultures in the Oscars. Like we said, Parasite won Best Picture last year. Minari is up for this year. There's just a lot of like differing voices coming to the Oscars finally. Whether or not they win is another story entirely, but it's baby steps. Baby steps.
Well done getting shit out during a pandemic. It's been a fucking.
Which honestly,
year
I
and
think
a
the
half.
pandemic is half the reason we got to see most of the shorts this year. Because how else are you going to see them? There's no festivals anymore.
As far as my final note on this, go watch Wolfwalkers and go watch Genius Losty. I'm going to make sure that the link to that one's up on our Discord channel, and you should absolutely go watch it.
Hell yeah. Do that.
And good job to all the animators.
Yeah, guys.
All the work, everything is beautiful.
Yeah, they're whether it's the shorts or the features, there's a lot of good quality this year.
No matter what wins, I mean, each one of them was awesome.
Yeah. Well, everybody out there, thank you for listening with us. How about in the comments this week, just give us your Oscar predictions. What you think's gonna win the shorts and the feature animation wise this year, or your other Oscar predictions. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I'll talk with you. Whatever. But that'll do it for this week. Until we see you again, stay safe out there, and we'll catch you again.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find all the links to our social media pages in the episode description. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and join our Discord. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. The Ink and Paint Club is happy to be part of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network. We'll see you next time.